Come on in, everyone. Come on in because we are here, y'all, for a special video. And y'all, we got to talk about Shannon Sharpe. I know I don't normally come here and do videos like this, but a couple of my viewers said, hey, girl, we want to hear what you think about Shannon Sharpe. Well, if you saw my thumbnail, my thumbnail, you would know right away what I think of Shannon Sharpe, which is, I guess we got another dumb jock on our hands. Another dumb jock. They say that behind every successful man, there is a great woman. Well, what is behind every dumb jock? A lot of times, a white woman taking them down. Let's not lie about it. A lot of times, it is a white woman taking them down. And sometimes it's just a woman, period, because the women got to expose what a creep they are behind closed doors. So I don't want to put it all on white women, but they do be doing some dirty work out here. We ain't gonna lie. But you know what? I'm not blaming them. I don't care. Honestly, I'm gonna come clean. With y'all about Shannon Sharpe. Did I ever really like Shannon Sharpe? Nope, I didn't. You know why I didn't like Shannon Sharpe? Because I need to talk to the people who are football fans who remember Shannon Sharpe when he was in the NFL league. Y'all know who watched my channel. I like football. Well, Shannon Sharpe played most of his career with the Denver Broncos. I think he must have played for them like 10 years. 10 years, won a whole lot of champions with the Denver Broncos. He was a tight end behind John Elway. John Elway was the man throwing the ball to Shannon Sharpe, and this is how they won all of these championships. Well, back in the day, my opinion of Shannon Sharpe and a lot of other people's opinion of Shannon Sharpe was that he was a cow. What do you call it? Kowtowing of white people. Kowtowing. That's what the opinion was, because you see, the Denver Broncos was winning all these championships with Shannon Sharpe. They really were. And they wasn't paying him nothing. Nothing, y'all. Very little money. He was rated back in the day as one of the most underpaid tight ends that are out there. So basically, my opinion of Shannon Sharpe back then, like I'm gonna tell you, I didn't like him. He liked to be taken advantage of. And there was something about Shannon Sharpe that he seemed to always toddle behind white people. It was like he needed their approval. And I didn't like it about him. And honestly, it didn't actually just start with Shannon Sharpe. You football players out there, football fans, you remember that Shannon Sharpe is the little brother. His big brother, Sterling Sharpe, was also a good player, also another underrated player in the NFL. And both of them had a lot of similarities. They both like white women. They liked it. They liked to toddle behind. And so you know what? Growing up as a football fan, I didn't like him. I thought he was weak. I thought he was, he did things to be liked. And he didn't stand up for himself. I didn't like too much about him. You know, the Denver Broncos did Shannon Sharpe so bad that they won all those championships with him. He's catching these balls and everything. Then they didn't want to pay him. And then when he started getting older in his career, back in the day, it was a thing that when you dedicated your life to a team, that team would then honor you in your later parts of your career. And you could retire with that team, you know, you could do all the fanfare and you would, you know, go off into retirement. It was like a big going away party. Well, Denver Broncos did Shannon Sharpe so bad that when Shannon Sharpe got older, got a little hurt, got a little slower, they traded his ass. Can you believe it? How many Super Bowl rings did he win with them? 6. They traded him. And well, I can't say they really traded him. They didn't want to pay him. He then had to go to Baltimore Ravens, a whole nother team, to really get the money that he deserved. Let me tell you, y'all, I'm telling you, it was bad, y'all. It was bad. I really think he got his first big paycheck. Shannon Sharpe got his first big paycheck when he went to the Baltimore Ravens. And I think he ended up making more money at the Baltimore Ravens than in, I say maybe 2 years or 3 years that he had made with the Denver Broncos for 8, 9 years. They did him dirty, but he stayed right there, kowtowing. I didn't like him. Same thing with his brother Sterling. He was a good player. He was a good player. Then even after they retired, they didn't want to vote them into the. They didn't want to vote him into the Hall of Fame. I think Shannon Sharpe went in the Hall of Fame maybe after 7 years. I mean, that's not too bad. But if you're a really good player, typically you can go in sooner. But that's okay. People like Deion Sanders, stuff like that, they went in the Hall of Fame way faster. But they finally let Shannon Sharpe in. And then lo and behold, like I told you, Sterling Sharpe was before Shannon Sharpe. They didn't let Sterling Sharpe into the Hall of Fame until way even after Shannon Sharpe was, because I think Shannon Sharpe had to push for his brother to get in the Hall of Fame. I'm telling you, but all this time, here's Shannon Sharpe and Sterling Sharpe. I didn't like him. I didn't like him one bit. And you know what? It continued. I mean, we didn't hear from Sterling Sharpe for years. I mean, I'm sure he was doing sports, ESPN, all this other kind of stuff. But then when a lot of mainstream people started picking up on Sterling Sharpe was when he was on more like ESPN with Skip Bayless. And then what did we see over there? Skip Bayless did him wrong too. And he would sit over there on ESPN and let that white man, Skip Bayless, talk to him any kind of way, talk down to him any kind of way. I didn't like it. I never liked it. There was always this thing about Sterling Sharpe where I felt he wanted white people's approval. He wanted white people's approval. And I didn't like it about him. And then I remember back in the day, any of you who are older, you will remember that dark-skinned people, dark-skinned men, they really didn't come into favor until like the 90s. They're back in the what was it, 80s, 70s, people were into the light-skinned men. The light-skinned men, like the Terrence, what's the guy on Empire? Terrence, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But around the 90s, that's when Wesley Snipes started really doing a lot of movies. He became like a heartthrob. You had Denzel Washington out there doing his things. That's when the real, sort of chocolate brothers started to emerge. And then the light-skinned brothers started to get mad. Well, if you ever listen to Shannon Sharpe back in the day, he always used to talk about how he didn't have a lot of pull as much as the light-skinned men because he was so dark. It was him and his brother. And then on top of that, Shannon Sharpe talked with that lisp. So basically, people were like, Shannon Sharpe is dumb because he let these teams run over him. He talked funny with that lisp, and he was dark. So he was a big, black, dark, dumb jock. That's what I'm saying. That was the word on the street. I hate to say it. I hate to tell everyone that was the same with Shannon Sharpe. And I think Shannon Sharpe built up a real sort of a chip on his shoulder about it. And I think secretly, as we are here today, I know I've been talking about a lot of history. We are here today. There is a part of Shannon Sharpe that I believe the reason why he was treating these white women and doing this to these young white girls in the background, treating them like dogs and talking to them and all this stuff we're seeing is because secretly, he's got a bone to pick. It's some get back. I'm telling you. Shannon Sharpe never, ever married. And he's got some children. And from what I've seen of his children, they seem like very well-rounded, beautiful children. I think he's got sons and girls. I don't know girls versus boys. But Shannon Sharpe never married the mom. And I don't think he has the same mom for all his children. And what I actually found interesting was when Shannon Sharpe started to have children, I remember back in the day thinking, oh, I'm sure he must have had some children with a white woman because Shannon Sharpe loves to run behind or white women. This is what I knew. And his brother married one. So I was so surprised when I found out Shannon Sharpe had children and they were by a black woman. But then I was like, well, we don't ever see the black woman. Where is the black woman? Where is the mama? You don't marry her. Where do you keep her? And one of the things I remember about Shannon Sharpe is that he always talked about how I don't know if it was his mother or his grandmother, was very instrumental in his life in raising him, he and his brother. And I suspect that what Shannon Sharpe did was that in private, he wanted his children to be raised with some of the morals that he thought he was being raised with. And I think he chose the mother of his children carefully. So in that respect, I'm going to say that Shannon Sharpe was smart. It looks like he chose some very good mothers of his babies. But then you say, well, why did he marry any of them? You see, I know everyone is out here praising a lot of men who want to have their own YouTube channels, and they want to, you got Cam Newton, you got these sports people, you got Shannon Sharpe, you got, I don't know, who else is on here? You got all these, I think Kevin A. Smith, I think he just got married, even though he didn't play football. But a lot of these athletes or in the sports world, they're out now talking about dating and all this other kind of stuff. But a lot of them, they don't get married or they mess up marriage. They don't get married or they mess up marriage. And, I've seen the clips. I've seen the clips with Monique, Cat Williams, everyone telling Shannon Sharpe, you need to stay away from them white girls. They told him, they warned him, because they probably knew what I knew, that this is a long history of Shannon Sharpe. This is not new. I know it's new to some people because people are just now hearing about Shannon Sharpe since he had Club Shay Shay, but none of this is new. You see, Shannon Sharpe chose the mother of his children, and it looks like he chose some good women, but he never married them because what Shannon Sharpe really likes to do is stuff that those mothers of those children would never want to do. And Shannon Sharpe says, no, you're good to breed my children. You're good to rear my children. You're good to bring my children up so they become nice, upstanding citizens and they do right. But in the dark, what I still like to do is what I like to do. And that is I like to chase white women. And then what I like to do, as it seems, is I like to treat them real, real bad to get back at all the white men who didn't want to let me into the Hall of Fame, who didn't pay me when I was making all them Super Bowl catches. It's some get back. I'm telling you. Shannon Sharpe needs to go to therapy, and he needs to figure out, why does he like all this kind of stuff? Why does he do it? We all say it's always about power. It is about power. All the stuff we're seeing about P. Diddy, it's about a sick, demented form of power. And when people continually want to gain more and more power, you also find that somewhere early in their life, they felt they didn't have power over themselves. You see, when ESPN did Shannon Sharpe real dirty, they did him dirty over there when he was over there with Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless talked to him all kind of ways on that show. He said he gonna get fired. He gonna go on over here and start his own Club Shay Shay. Club Shay Shay blew up because what Shannon Sharpe started to get, he started to get a whole new audience. It was an audience that didn't know Shannon Sharpe when he actually played football. You see, it was younger people who didn't really know about the 80s and the 90s when Shannon Sharpe was out there playing football in the 90s. And so he was able to reinvent himself. But the thing about older people is we do not forget the past. We don't forget the past. So none of this is new. Anyone who's watched football since the 80s or a little bit older, none of this is new to us. If it's new to you, it's because you knew. And that's okay. But because it's not new to me, I ain't no ways tired over what's happening to Shannon Sharpe. Not at all. And I'm like everything else I see out here when it talks about stand down, Black women, stand down. You see, because I'm also glad that we're leaving an era of when Black women are expected to stand by black men, even when those black men have done wrong. Okay, hear me once again. I'm glad we're past the era where black women are expected to stand by black men, even though those black men have done wrong. And, this was prevalent even back in the O.J. Simpson trial. This is one of the reasons why the prosecuting case with the O.J. Simpson case overestimated or underestimated what the sort of verdict was going to be for O.J. Simpson. I don't want to get into whether O.J. was guilty or whether O.J. was innocent. I typically stand on the side where O.J. had something to do with that woman's murder. He did. That's how I believe. Okay. And when that jury for the O.J. Simpson trial was convened, there were a lot of black women on it, and they were very instrumental in his acquittal. And what the white prosecutor, what was her name, Marsha Clark, she guessed wrong. She thought she wanted to stack the deck with women. That's what she wanted to do because she felt that the women would more sympathize with Nicole Brown Simpson and the death of her more than they would empathize with O.J. Simpson. And she ended up betting wrong because back in that day, there was a lot more about this stand by, protect within the black community. Well, I wasn't that person because like I told you, I believe that O.J. Simpson was guilty back then. But it is what it is. He got out of jail and then he showed his whole ass. He went back into jail. They got him anyway. Okay. And I think we're out of that era now. I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see in these YouTube streets that I see black women saying, not reacting to the appeal of Shannon Sharpe. Because see, what Shannon Sharpe tried to do when he was first accused is he immediately started to blow the dog whistle and invoke the call of black people to rally around him. Because what he did was his first confessional video he did, he said, I am a victim of this. What's the lawyer? Busby. I'm a victim of Busby because Busby is doing to me, Shannon Sharpe, what he did to Jay-Z and what he did to P. Diddy. And Busby has a history of going after black men. And what Shannon Sharpe was trying to do, he was trying to say, black people, you should defend me, not because I did something wrong. You should overlook what I did, but you should defend me because this lawyer likes to go after black men. So wait a minute, Shannon Sharpe. Let's say you're right. Let's say this lawyer likes to go after dumb black men who put themselves in bad positions, who get power hungry, and who do anything to gain more power over people, institutions, everything. And let's say this Busby fella has decided that y'all are low-hanging fruit and he's going to be the one to come over here and make a whole lot of money off you dumb men who make these mistakes out here. And now what you want us to defend you simply because this Busby fella has an agenda. Well, then when are we going to deal with your behavior, Shannon Sharpe? When are we going to deal with Shannon Sharpe's behavior? And when are we going to deal with P. Diddy's behavior? And if anything turns out to be true about Jay-Z, when are we going to deal with that? So I am happy that amongst my black women, we are standing down. We are not only standing down, but we're going to hold accountable the Diddys of the world, the Shannon Sharpes of the world. And what these men, especially Shannon Sharpe, what you're not going to do is you're not going to go over here and frolic and do all these things with white women. And then when you get in trouble, run with your tail between your legs, black to the black community, and ask the black community to defend you. No, folks need to be held accountable, period and point blank. You see, Monique, Cat Williams, all these people tried to warn Shannon Sharpe. He didn't listen. He didn't listen. All the warnings are on tape, on video. He didn't listen. And now that he's in hot water, now that he's sinking in the quicksand, he wants to get on here and start talking to the Black community, which is where he's made a lot of his money on Club Shay Shay, right? We have overwhelmingly supported him. Now he wants us to come to his rescue. Why? Why? Nope. Listen, when you want to be the same people you want to be rescued from, you need to learn how to listen to them and you need to do right by them. No more. So y'all want to hear my opinion? Y'all want to hear my opinion? You heard my opinion. And after this video, y'all may not want to hear it no more. Be careful what you ask for, audience. Y'all said, when you going to do a video on Shannon Sharpe? Well, here it is. Here is the video. And let me tell you, some of y'all may not want to hear me talk about some stuff no more. Because if I talk about it, I'm going to talk about it. I'm not going to hold back. Anyway, that's it, y'all. Bye.